Hello, I'm Jennifer Brower, and today we're going over my Chapter 7 summary and reflection. Maybe. I think I'll do the summary first and then make another video for the reflection. How does that sound? Good. All right. Can I get a thumbs up? All right. So this chapter is called, I got to look at it to be specific, Enhancing Students' Motivation to Learn. In this chapter, the first topic that we're going to cover is the key issues in student motivation to learn. And some of the things that I learned in this part of the chapter was that there's three concepts. There is the intrinsic value, the attainment value, and the utility value. I had already learned about the utility value in philosophy this semester. And so the utility value is how much a person can enjoy. Kind of like what they said in philosophy about hedons and doliards. It's the overall utility. A hedon is something that a person gets pain from, and a dolor is something that a person gets pleasure from. Or I might have it backwards. Hold on. A hedon is what you get pleasure from. A dolor is what you get pain from. But anyway, all together equals the overall utility of the situation. So when thinking about that, it makes me think about how that can affect the motivation of students. In this chapter, another thing that was covered was the students' academic needs. Different students have different needs. There's some students that really like to do sports, and then there's some students that doesn't like to do sports, but like to do other things like writing or whatever. So it's important to have objectives and reasons why you do this activity that help the student be motivated and be able to pay attention. So some of the key things that you can think about too when thinking about an activity, you can enhance the student's movement. If they like sports, then they're going to be wanting to get up and get around. Or maybe if they're artistic, you can enhance their creativity. So another topic in this that we're covering, and make sure you get all the parts, is to be involved in the learning process. Of course, the student wants to be involved in the learning process because they got to tell you what they like. I mean, you can't help them be motivated if you don't understand what they like. And that's what's really important whenever you're trying to keep a child motivated. Is if, like, they're most likely to like a topic more if you do something that pertains to the topic that they enjoy. So, for example, if Sonia likes to play soccer, you might want to incorporate some soccer balls in your PowerPoint, or whenever you're planning to do something like a story. Pick a story that's about somebody that plays soccer, because you know that Sonia and maybe a couple other people in your class like soccer. Another big thing to think about that I learned from this chapter was the having a learning goals related to their own interests and choices. Whenever, like I said before, whenever you're incorporating the students' interest, you want to make sure that you you do something that they will enjoy, so it'll make them motivated. I mean, sometimes it's a lot. Like sometimes that doesn't even work, and then that's when you gotta think of something else that maybe they would like because they like something else. You have to just think about it when you're trying to make your lesson plans. Another thing that was covered in this chapter was okay, we covered the incorporating academic choices, like what I said before about the soccer games and stuff, and also like if they love to draw, have something where, for drawing, another good idea, like you could, like in on page 241, you can have like, okay, if somebody likes to write, you can have them write a story filling in the words, kind of like a Mad Lib, with words that they would think that they would finish with the story. Like some kids may choose a different adjective or a different verb to use or a different name, but it makes this story their own, and that's what keeps them motivated if they know that they can create something themselves. Another topic that's talked about in this chapter is culturally sensitive teaching. Whenever you have students in your class of different cultures, you have to be diverse. You can't just say, well, I'm only going to talk about things that I like. You got to think about everybody. You got to think about, okay, so this person's from India. Let's have a World's Day where they can bring in food and then tell us their favorite dish that their parent makes. Or if you have one from Mexico, say, okay, we're going to have World Day. So if you want to be involved, you can bring your favorite dish that your family likes and stuff like that. And it's fun to do stuff like that for kids because it keeps them motivated and interested in what you're doing at the time. Another thing that was in this chapter is it covers some more about receiving instruction responsive to their learning styles and strengths. Yeah, you got to really, like, you have to do like a questionnaire at the beginning of the school year. I think this is critical because that way hey, I'm going to have a question on the questionnaire saying, this child learns this way and this child learns this way. So if I know how they learn and if their parents can tell me how they learn, then I can help develop a better plan. And always have them put like on a questionnaire, if when you send your parents questionnaire at home, you can always say, well, what are their strengths? You think, what do you think your child does the best? Okay, and then they can put it down. And then what do you think they're most interested in? And that's always good to think about. Another thing is adjusting environmental factors that meet the students' learning needs. Some kids, okay, they have disabilities, and we know nobody's perfect. Some people don't like sound. Some people don't like lights. I personally, it doesn't bother me, but I might have a child that has migraines, and you gotta think, well, let's dim the lights for that child so they don't have to sit there and suffer and have migraines. Or if somebody is autistic, they really do not enjoy sounds. Some sounds just like going to, like, when you have like an assembly or something like that, they might not want to go because they know that people are going to be clapping and making noise and all kinds of stuff. And so you got to think about stuff like that. You got to make your classroom like that. Another good thing is in this chapter is the multiple intelligences. We went over that with Mr. Hill last year, and it kind of touches on how you have to look at this chart to see how each individual person learns, which is very helpful. You have the social, interpersonal relationship. You have the verbal and linguistic. You have the visual and the spectacle. You have the kinesthetic. the musical. There's 8 different parts of the chart. Then you have interpersonal. Well, I mean, that's on there. Like, you can have an interpersonal relationship, and then you can have a social interpersonal. And then the logical. I mean, if a child learns logically. Another thing that is discussed in this chapter is the different levels. You have the factual level, the concept level, and the generalization level, and the personal application level. This pertains to students and how they feel like they can be motivated in the classroom with using these different strategies, because I mean, you can more. Okay, so for the personal level, kids, if you do activities where it like involves like I said, like cultures or something like that, that will be more like on a personal application level. And another section of this chapter is modeled by adults and exciting, rewarding processes. It's always good to model for a child. If they don't quite understand, then get up and model it. Don't just sit there and be like, well, I told you how to do it. I told you the directions. You got to get up and show them sometimes. And I mean, it's better to model too, because that way, you showed them how to do it. And so they should understand how to do it after you modeled it. Another important topic that was in this chapter, having time to integrate learning. So as a teacher, you don't have much time at all. And you have to do so many standards and so many subjects. And students need to, like, I've noticed this during the virtual classes and stuff. Students need their time. Like, they cannot sit in front. I have first graders, and they cannot sit in front of that computer the whole time. They need to take a break in between. That's why they get a 2-hour lunch break, because they cannot pay attention. And when they're not paying attention and looking bored, we just tell them to get up and start moving. Another one is let me think. I've already covered that one. Pretty much covered that one too. This is such a long chapter. That's why I got to look through it to make sure I covered most of it. Peer tutoring. Okay, so about peer tutoring. Okay, so this is how I think about it. I know the book says one thing, but personally, I don't like peer tutoring because it makes the child feel like they're dumb. It's like, okay, let's let Jimmy help you, Sally, because you're not quite getting the concept. And I don't think that's very good. I don't think that's good for a child, because it makes the other child feel dumb. But then it makes the other child feel like they're smart because they're helping. But I mean, even though it could be motivational for one child, it might not be motivational for another. So that was the overview / summary of chapter 7, and it had a ton of parts in it, and I hope I didn't forget any, and I hope you have a good evening. Bye.